Alright, welcome back, Creative Disciples. Today we're working on the Xeno'jiiva Part 2, and I'm gonna tell you right now, there's gonna be a Part 3, but we're gonna get into that a little bit later. Right now, if you didn't already notice, the Xeno'jiiva looks a little bit different from how I ended the last video. And that's because I added a couple little things off camera. Basically, all I did was, just like how I did the basil goose, I just use hot glue. All you do is just put a little hot glue on there, however big and however the shape is, you just put it in there while it's still hot, and then you let it sit, balance it out a little bit, do what you gotta do, shape it up, and then boom, you got a bunch of little scales. And I basically did that all over in different little formations and everything to try and get an organic look to the skin for the Xeno'jiiva, because the Xeno'jiiva, it has a different look other than any other model, so try to make it unique in its own way after covering up with some paper, mainly newsprint paper, and also like the same hard paper that I'm about to use for the template for the wings. I use for the little webbings that's all over its body, on its hands, on its tail, stuff like that, you know, nothing too crazy. Just got the final build, and by the end of this video, this will be the final build. But let me get into why I had to take another week off. And that's because of these wings. So if you didn't already know, go ahead and hit that bell, notification, subscribe, all that good stuff, because we got some heat coming on the way, including the Xeno'jiiva build, which I know is going to be pretty great by the time I finish it. I'm already liking how it's looking. But in the community section, I put some polls up, some pictures, some comments, anything, you know, to let y'all know what's going on, to give you updates. And last week I put up a poll to see how y'all's feeling about the wings. Should I keep it with the paper? Should I use fabric? Now, I did that, and honestly, my heart was already kind of set on doing the fabric, even though at that point, the whole model was done. I did the whole model, and so that's what you're seeing right now. Is I'm working on the wing, the paper, the usual design like I usually do for every one of my other models. I did the exact same thing with Xeno'jiiva, but the reason why my mindset was set on the fabric is because I wanted something, I needed something that was lighter weight, because these paper wings are great for shaping, for, you know, getting the silhouette right and everything, but when you put that thing together, it weighs it down so much. And if I can cut down the weight a little bit as it gets more to the top of the Xeno'jiiva model, as much as I can, then I definitely will. Plus, on top of that, using fabric, it's just a different, you know, it's a different way of doing it. Something I've been honestly kind of wanting to try for some time. And boy, I wish I would have had some practice. Man, it took me through it. And I don't necessarily think it's because it was fabric, but it was because the fabric I used. Took a little trip to Joann's, got me some translucent fabric, the closest I could think of, you know, that was like the closest to my vision, I guess. And I just went for it, really. I didn't have any plan. I didn't know how it was gonna look, or I mean, I had an idea of how it was gonna look, but all of this is just trial and error. It's just what I'm doing. So right now, you can see I'm laying that fabric out. It's pretty thin, it's pretty flimsy, and that is what tore me up. Trying to figure out how to keep this thing still while I'm tracing it, while I'm cutting it out, while I'm gluing it down. And gluing it down was also pretty dangerous. I do not suggest you do this at home, because as you can see that my desk through this fabric. That means that hot glue is gonna burn you, and it definitely did several times. Luckily, I've been doing this for a while, so I don't know if my fingers are calloused up. I mean, they don't feel really hard, to be honest, but I also know how to kind of mess with hot glue without touching it too much. It's something I can't really explain, and again, I'm not condoning this. It's not fun. Especially when I first started, I didn't know what I was doing, but hot glue can be really hot. Of course, it's hot glue. It's basically put through an iron, and I use only high temp because low temp does not stick as much as I would like it to. It's just not fun, and even low temp, I'm pretty sure from what I remember, low temp could burn you too anyway, so it don't really matter. Regardless, I had to touch it a certain way in order to make sure this thing stuck and stayed together because once I started cutting this fabric, of course the seams started coming out, and even by the end the seams still show. That's just how it worked. It really was a lot, and I only got part of me putting on the first wing. I didn't get the other rest of it because I was getting frustrated. You're trying to manage the camera battery and the memory and all that stuff while trying to figure out how to put this thing on was just crazy. But this last showcase that you're gonna see is gonna be the model before I put the fabric on. It's because I had some cool videos and poses already set up with the paper wings, so that's what it looks like, and that's what's in that video. Rest assured, the fabric is done. You know, if you're looking to do something like this, just please be careful because it's tough. I'ma just be straight up with you. Without further ado, that's the Xeno'jiiva. The build is complete. Next video, we're gonna be working on the painting and the painting alone. And yeah, let me know what y'all think. Alright, once again, I appreciate y'all for coming around. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We're gonna be having some more videos coming up for y'all soon. And let me know what y'all think. I'll see y'all next time.